Hi, so this is my second video in my series going through the jumps from GCSE to PhD level maths. In this video I'm going to be covering the transition from A-level to university maths. So I'm going to cover workload, control, difficulty, support, assessments, progression, and any other kind of last minute thoughts about the transition from A-level to university. So let's get started with the workload. How much work are you expected to do? So in the last video I spoke about when you move from GCSE to A-level you get a lot more self-study time. At university that only increases further. The balance of lecture to self-study becomes more self-study each year, so in first year you'll have more lecture time, more seminar time. Depending on the university, they normally advise around 150 hours of work per module, and you're normally doing 4 modules at a time. Sometimes if the module is double weight, for example a dissertation or a research project, the amount of time that you are expected to take on it is higher. The amount of taught time across your degree will vary, but for example if you have a 2-hour lecture, a 1-hour practical per week, you can expect to supplement that with 2 to 4 hours of studying that you schedule in yourself, and then some time to work on any assignments or course. So control is something that changes very drastically from A-level to university. You're going to gain so much more autonomy in your time. So that means that you can be flexible. If you don't want to study in the morning and you've not got a lecture, no problem, studying at night, you can do that. With new control, often you will find you're doing too little work or possibly too much if you're overstimulated and you're worried about it. One good metric of whether you're doing enough work is, are you getting everything that you felt that you needed to do done? So maybe that's your lecturers give you a list of practical exercises at the beginning of the week. Are you getting them done by the end of the week? It is important to find a good balance between your interests, study, and sleep. If you find yourself procrastinating a lot, you might find it difficult. You might find it useful to kind of shake up the style in which you're learning. Maybe you want to change your learning environment, try the library, try working in a different room of your flat, whatever. So difficulty. The difficulty of work compared to A-levels for me doesn't have a straight answer. Obviously the stuff you're doing is more difficult maths, but I personally found it much easier to learn at university than I did at A-level, and I actually found myself doing better. Having that increased independence made a massive difference to me. And also because the depth of the teaching is much deeper, if you fully engage with the teaching materials and turn up to the lectures, you will find the first year of university graspable. A lot of the time, especially in maths, the first couple of modules that you do will be really deriving things from the very core principles of mathematics. So for example, if you're doing calculus, a lot of things will be from first principles, and you'll get to see a really interesting side of mathematics that never gets that deeply delved into at A-level. Most universities are also aware of holes in A-level teaching, and they will aim to help you fill them in those first couple of months. Everyone comes to university from a slightly different background. People have done gap years, maybe people have been in employment, and there's a lot of content to understand across the whole degree, but a lot of the initial learning is how do we get everybody up to speed. You will need to understand a lot more content and understand it a lot quicker. Each module I think is honestly about the same amount of content as an A-level, but you'll be able to cover it much faster once you're at university. And you'll get to learn really interesting things, which is wonderful. So support, at the beginning of your university, they will say, oh, there's all these different people that you can contact for support, and they'll list them out, and they'll probably have like a hierarchy tree of, if the problem's not solved here, go to this person, yada yada yada. At A-level, you had support just in the fact that you had contact with your teachers whenever you were turning up to lessons. When you turn up to a lecture, it can be a little bit different because there's not that opportunity to talk. They've got to give the lecture for the 2 hours. But I think if you engage with the lecturer, you maybe ask them questions in the break or ask them questions while the lecture's going on, you're going to find that a lot easier and feel a little bit more supported and a little bit more engaged. The support will also come in the form of a personal tutor who in your first year you normally meet once a week to discuss any parts of the course you don't understand or anything personal you need help with. At university, help and support only comes to those who ask for it. Your lecturers may have anywhere between 5 and 300 students in their module, so if you're struggling, they're not going to know. Smaller groups will always have a better relationship with the lecturer, but the main support will come from what you actually try and access. If you form a study group or you have friends, they can be your support, and if you engage and ask questions and make use of the lecturer's office hours, you're going to find the whole process a lot easier. So compared to A-level, you will need to be much more proactive in accessing support. Assessments, always fun. So at A-level, you did 2 to 3 exams for the entire qualification. For a degree, you will do 8 modules a year, and 3 years for a bachelor's. So that means you've got 24 exams minimum. And in each of these exams has got less of a weight to that final grade than when you were doing A-levels and you maybe did 1 or 2. So with that comes a reduce in pressure. So you may still feel a lot of pressure to do well, but I found at university exams tend to feel more relaxed than A-levels, even though the exam content is much harder. You may also have courseworks in the form of assignments, so you'll do them as you're doing your other work alongside going to lectures and what have you. The exams are obviously harder, but it can be more relaxed when you're doing them because it's, okay, I'm bad at calculus, but I'm not bad at my entire degree. Whereas with A-levels, if you fail your maths A-level exam, you failed your maths A-level. There is kind of a limit on how badly you can do without it causing problems in an exam, but as long as you engage just a little bit, you normally can pass, so that you can do well. So progression, it is challenging and stressful to get into university, and for a lot of people, as soon as they manage to get there, they begin to panic about what comes next. With a master's degree, you can do an amazing range of options, which can be overwhelming. It's wonderful, but it can be overwhelming. So finding out what you want to do next is difficult. So while in your first year, try and get as many experiences as possible. So join societies and research things that you think you might like to do. Any experience on a CV is better than a blank CV. Common options for what happens after a master's degree is master's degree, employment, straight into a PhD, starting a business or other self-employment. So there really is a really wide range of places that you can go with a maths degree, so try not to worry about it too much at the very beginning and just focus on, doing well in your subject and enjoying yourself, and the rest will come later. But yeah, there's a lot of stress at A-level, whereas I think because a maths degree is a little bit longer, there's a little longer to be worried about it, but it's not as intense as, the stress of, oh, if I don't get into university, what happens, and all that kind of jazz has kind of diluted and gone away. So, final thoughts. When you're 16 to 18, which is the typical age for doing A-levels, I know there's sometimes adult learners, but you're in much less control of your home life situation compared to what you get once you go to university. So if you're struggling with that, good luck, and just keep working until you can get more control of your surroundings. University can really help you elevate yourself and have more confidence in your own mathematics abilities. In addition to that, if you're someone who's got a really great home life and you've been really well supported while doing your GCSEs, doing your A-levels, you may find university a real shock to the system and find it very difficult at first. So don't be surprised if people around you aren't all feeling the same things. Some people love the independence, some people hate it. So there's a massive, it's a difficult time for everyone in the fact that you've had to move, which some people may never have done in their life. You're changing what you eat often, you might be drinking more, so everything in your environment kind of changes drastically. Which means that at least in the first couple of months, just give yourself some time to get adjusted, and don't really beat yourself up if you feel like you were doing really great at A-level and now university's hard. There's a lot of changes, just keep doing your best and you'll be fine. I hope you I hope you found that helpful. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.